How's it going, everybody? Alright, it's late and people are sleeping, so I'm gonna speak in my radio voice. How's everybody doing? So, today we're gonna talk about, I'm studying for the mortgage loan originator licensing exam, and through this study and through understanding the whole history of America and lending people money to buy a home, it really is awesome and helps define why America is the greatest country ever in the history of the world. So I'm going to sort of give you some hacks, some study porn on what I'm doing to remember certain things that are difficult for me. I'm not good at just remembering stuff to remember it, so I always have to have some sort of tricks to keep me focused, okay? So we are going to go through the forms. There's a number of forms that you have to use, and this is the foundation of the loan making process, is filling out these forms and knowing what they are. So I'll tell you why this is so, crazy. So the form number 121003, how do you remember that? Okay, so the way I remember it is, this thing ain't easy as 1, 2, 3, baby. This is the big enchilada. It's the Uniform Residential Loan Application. Residential is the house, loan is the bank, and the application is you. Even though it's just 3 things, it ain't easy as 1, 2, 3. Uniform Residential Loan Application, and it has everything that you need to know, right? So all of your assets and liabilities, whether you've been in the service or not, your demographics, what color, race, gender, all that good stuff are located on 1003, which ain't easy as 1, 2, 3. So that's how I remember this loan. This application form. All right, and the next is the 1004. All right, come on now. 1004, and so I remember the 1004 is for sale, okay, for sale, and this is your uniform RAR, residential appraisal report. Okay, this house is for sale, so you have to have it appraised, okay? Your uniform appraisal report. And what I found interesting about this report, so you have a bunch of standard, and this is kind of the report that they put Trump on trial for, because they're saying what he listed as an asset was overvalued as to what it actually was. And so within this report, you have this section right here. So this section is sort of the money section. So if you have a property that has some sort of valuation component that's beyond just how big is it and how where it's located, that section right there is that paragraph right there is where you tell the story. Like, let's say it's the house of Ernest Hemingway, or has a history like Mar-a-Lago for Trump has this awesome history of who owned it before. They call that in art provenance and so on and so forth. So the 1004 I remember as for sale, the Uniform Residential Appraiser Report. Let's give it. And then, of course, you can't have the 1004 unless you have the 1005. And so I remember that, the 1005, as, hey man, remember me? Hey boss, I used to have a job here. I used to have a job here. So I remember that as like, as kind of like putting up your hand, like, hey, you remember me? Number five, look at my hand here, I got 5 fingers. And so this is your verification of employment. And so your lender wants to see that, were you employed before? Where were you employed? Are you employed now? How can I ensure that I get paid? So it's only one page, it has some instructions back here. So the number one, the 10005, I remember as there's 5 fingers on your hand, and you're saying to your boss, hey man, I used to have a job here. I used to have a job. And you can't have the 1005 without the 1006. So let's give it up for the 1006. And I remember that as you in the mix with your you in the 00666, you in the mix. And so I remember this as, some people believe the banking industry, the Rothschilds and the central bank, it's the top of a pyramid of evil that's meant to debase money and turn, the world into this slave state, right? So there's all of this conspiracy theory stuff around the banking industry. So you're in the mix with 10666. This is the verification of deposit, where the lending institution, the bank, right, the lending institution is going to give you the money, talks to the place where you're keeping the money. All right, so the bank of deposit, where you're putting the money, your paycheck and your investment dollars, and so they want to verify what you say is true as far as how much money you got. But they don't want that verification coming from you. They want a verification bank to bank. The banks talking to each other without your input. So request is your VOD. So you're in the mix with the 100666. You got your VOD in the mix. Your verification of deposit. 666, the banking industry, the verification of deposit. They be talking to you. All right. And next, You can't have the 1006 unless you have. Oh, I keep doing that. There we go. The 1007. All right, let's give it up for the 1007. And the way I remember this is this is your secret agent. The 1007 is your secret agent pathway to rental heaven. All right, the 1007 is your secret agent pathway to rental heaven. And so this is a loan application for property. This is all for property to buy. So within this process of buying a property, they also ask you your what would this cost if you're going to rent it. So it's not just the valuation of the property as a whole, but what would be its monthly dividend or revenue if you were to take the property as an investment vehicle. So the 1007 is your secret agent pathway to rent heaven. So this is your VOR, your verification of rent, or your single family rent schedule. And yeah, so I asked, I go into GPT and AI and ask, why do I gotta have a rent thing? And they were like, it's a good thing to have for negotiation when you're negotiating to buy the house. It's a good number. It's a good set of numbers to have for negotiation. And I thought, you know what? They're right. That sounds good. Alrighty, so we're almost done with 007. Your VO. I keep doing that. We're gonna give a laugh. 1007, 1008. The 1008. So the 1008 is the infinity symbol, right? The 8 is the affinity symbol. And this is called your transmittal summary. It's sort of a summary document that you put on top, right? It's a summary document. It's just one page, and it has everything that the other documents that we just went through, but it's here just really quickly stated. And the reason why you have this, which just kind of lays on top of all the other documents, is for the secondary market. In the industry, you have a primary market, which is between the real estate, right, the owner and the lender of the property, but the banking industry also allows for your loan, right, to be bought and sold and commoditized on a secondary market. So as they're commoditizing your loan packages, there's somebody that's just kind of eyeballing this to see the how cool or the level of accuracy or so what's in a loan package. Like, instead of going through all the other documents before, they just look at this one to get an idea of what each lender is doing with each borrower. So This is sort of the infinity symbol. The 1008 is the transmittal summary that just kind of lays on top. And last, why do I feel like Karnak the Magnificent here? You know, why do I feel like Karnak the Magnificent? The 1009. The 1009. What is in the 1009? On Funkel Magnol's porch since noon today. All right, let's give a shout out to Johnny Garson. So the way I remember the 1009 is sort of busts out my age, because there's this old Beatles song. This is called the 1 after 909, and it says, "Baby," he says, "she's traveling on the 1 after 909. Move over, honey, traveling all night line. Move over once, move over twice. Come on, baby, don't be cold as ice. Everybody's dead on 1 after 909." So it's about traveling, all right, the song. 1009, 1 after 909. And when might you be traveling? Well, you might get a reverse mortgage, and then after you retire, you have a reverse mortgage, and you have a house that's paid for, and then you start taking money on a monthly fashion, so you can use this money to supplement your income and go on wonderful vacations after your house is paid off and as you retire. And so that's how I remember the 1009, the residential loan application. It's for residential loan application for reverse mortgages, the 1 after 909. And so that's it. That's it for our study porn moment. I hope you enjoyed it. So I'm just sort of I passed. You have a 20-hour exam that you have to pass, and I passed that. And so then there's this other exam that's quite incredible. Like only 50% of the people pass this loan originator exam, and I'm gonna pass it. But only 50%. That, it's kind of like almost passing the bar. You know what I mean? So, I got my study materials. I've kind of wrapped my head around the mountain that I have to climb. And so now this week I'm going to be setting up a sort of daily schedule on, getting this study work into my brain on a daily basis. So that's it for this video. I'm doing a video essay on health, wealth, and art, my 3 biggest passion, and this was on the wealth part of my journey. Hope it wasn't too boring. All right. This is Liam broadcasting. It's late night here in Chicago, maybe about 1 in the morning, so I gotta turn it in. Had fun. Talk to you next time. Au revoir.